Bitcoin still finds itself in its ascending wedge. This wedge is a bearish pattern, but I still believe we have some hope to see BTC rise a little bit further to the upside. In today's video, guys, we are jumping into the technical analysis on Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on and where I think the price is heading. Let's roll the intro and get right down into it. Hi guys, welcome back to another update. Today we are taking a look at Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin paired up with Tether. We're on the 4-hour Binance chart. We still are firmly inside our ascending wedge, and most recently we've actually lost our mid-level trend line here. Okay, so this is something that we had that breakout from. We were retesting it. We were hoping to hold it as support, but yesterday we closed below this level. Okay, this made us test and retest the existing low. Approximately a double bottom at 50,625. At the moment, though, I'm not too confident on what is likely to unfold next. Let's take a look at this, right? So I still see the potential for a move to the upside, but in order for us to kind of see these things kind of play out, we have to get above that red line there, which is the 50 EMA. That's the moving exponential average, or the exponential moving average. Now, this is coming in at $51,110 at the moment, and as you can see, this is getting rejected. Okay, obviously we have the yellow line as well. That's the 50 simple moving average. That's coming in at 51,624 at the moment. Okay, so whilst price is below those two, it's going to be unfortunately a bit more bearish than bullish, and of course, you know, the moves here are going to be taking a look at that lower trend line if we cannot rally back above that 50 EMA at 51,110. Okay, so what is the opportunity here? Well, the opportunity will potentially be a little bit of a short trade. Let's jump into the chart. Okay, so whilst we're below our 50 EMA here with closures below it, what we want to do is we want to go short. We want to potentially put our stop loss above that mid-level trend line and target out a little bit deeper towards the low level trend line. This will be approximately a 3.61 risk reward ratio, and basically looking to bring the price of Bitcoin just ever so slightly lower, right? So looking at it, that's going to be one of the things to keep an eye on. Now, of course, if we were to do this, we're going to be trading on BitGet. BitGet is my go-to platform for all leverage-based trades. You'll find that it's a very easy to use platform. And if you haven't yet signed up to BitGet, what are you waiting for? Check it out. The link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic platform, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. Now, if you are new to the platform, you are also potentially eligible for up to $30,000 of rewards and bonuses, depending on how much you deposit and trade to the platform. There are lots of terms and conditions with that, like with any other affiliate link. Do follow the terms and conditions listed on the website. Not all countries and jurisdictions are eligible for that, so do check it out. Link is in the description down below. Okay, so that's one opportunity here, right? Potentially go short, put the stop loss in a nice tight area, and basically kind of ride this one down to that low trend line. That's possibility number one. Alternatively, we don't do that because we're above our 200 EMA. That's our white line down here, currently sat at 47,613. That's our trend filter. Some traders out there will tell you that if you're above this area, you don't want to necessarily go short if you're above the 200 EMA. Instead, you only consider long positions. So under that premise, what you do? Well, you wouldn't be going short because you're above the 200 EMA. So instead, what you tend to do is you'd wait for confirmation here that you're going to break out above that resistance of the 50 EMA. And so in that particular case, you'd put a long position under probably a limit. Actually, no, you wouldn't. You would wait until you get a first candle closed above, then go long. And you probably want to target out the other area of resistance up here with a really tight stop loss like this. Give you a good risk reward ratio of about 3.61, and that would be, you know, just basically looking for a closure above the 50 EMA, tight stop loss below the 50 EMA, And you might want to give it a little bit more breadth of space there, just to make sure it doesn't get a wick that's just liquidates you. And then there's the resistance to be kind of thinking about in terms of take profit at around 52,320 approximately, but it will be variable depending on the progression that we get to the upside under that scenario. So there's two scenarios that we can do here. One, we can go short based on the resistance that we're finding on the 50 EMA. Some traders won't want to do that because they're above the 200 EMA. So in which case you'd wait for confirmation of a breakout from the 50 EMA resistance and go long instead. You can see that there's a lot of resistance though right up in this upper area, coming in right here at the 52,364 to 52,816. This is an area where we've kind of been hit, and basically just been rejected for the previous 4 times we went up there. Okay, this is major resistance at the moment, so getting through here will be incredibly bullish. If we can get a closed position above, then we'll be talking about those higher moves up towards 55,000 that I've been banging on about for the last week or so. Okay, so at the moment, a bit of an unfortunate kind of scenario where we broke on down here just a fraction, and it does look like, unfortunately, it has a little bit more to the downside to go potentially before we get any run to the upside. Let's go ahead and take a look at things, right? Because it is the weekend. The weekend in itself isn't going to be the best trading opportunities. So here we can see that the stochastic RSI on the 4-hour is lifting up whilst we're finding that resistance. It gives us a potential to think about maybe there being a breakout opportunity here as we've got loads of room to grow. But at the same time, it's no guarantee because as you saw previously, up in this range, you can be rejected. You can just go right the way back down to the oversold area. So be mindful over that. We also need to be mindful over that the 1 hour is also overbought. So rejection at the moment is likely, and although the oversold status on the 8-hour and daily is in a pretty positive position, weekends are very unusual to see good runs to the upside, outside of course of the Sunday and the weekly close positions. We take this off, we throw the divergence indicator on, we can see the RSI, that's the yellow line here, has come down into the lower range. It is below the mid-level of 50, and this would normally be seen as a bearish move. We can see momentum is coming down quite nicely here, but price is holding up. So I look at that as a positive rather than a negative. At least here on the 4-hour time frame. So we'll keep a close eye on it. And there's no major divergences being indicated though at the moment. Volumes are decreasing as we're finding that resistance. Also a positive sign that things may be looking up for Bitcoin over the next kind of 48 hours or so. But I would expect us to see some pretty boring kind of trading opportunities until then. You should see we've been stuck in this kind of range for a while, right? If I go ahead and actually snap on where this is at the moment, right here, right, we can see that we're basically just bouncing between 49,917 and the slightly higher range, which I will actually go snap onto there. As you can see, as the 52,985, right? We're basically just sandwiched between here. You've got wicks in the low side and wicks in the high side, and all the closures are in the middle. Okay, and I reckon this is going to continue a little bit longer. Okay, we might come down into this low range again, find it as support as we get rejected on the 50 EMA, at least briefly on the 1-hour time frame, something quickly like that maybe, and then come back up, maybe kind of try and test out that higher range. And over the weekend, I'm not expecting terribly too much more from it, but we are obviously, as time progresses here, moving along nicely. We're kind of getting ourselves worked up into this apex a little bit, but it is going to take pretty much the majority of March, in my opinion, before we kind of see a major breakout or breakdown. Obviously, the bulls are going to be trying to break out to the upside here, but this is a bearish pattern where I've spoken about this before, where we'll potentially see a big breakdown from it. And there's lots of fundamental reasons in the world why we might see that as well. But until we get to that point, we can kind of be positive. We can kind of be a little bit bullish because I still see 55K on the horizon here for BTC. We do have, of course, those smaller movements with the lower highs and the lower lows here. And I'll draw this one in so everyone sees the reverse of what is going on a bigger scale here you have on the smaller scale here. So we can see this overlapping structure here. We are likely to see this break to the upside, in my opinion. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. In fact, I could probably even draw that slightly differently using the closed positions and the wicks, as you can kind of see here, we have support, strong support, selling pressure bringing us down to the support, but there's a lot of buying pressure here. We are likely to bounce, but nonetheless, on the kind of pattern side of things, it's looking okay and pretty reasonable. And if we were to consider Elliott wave theory, what is that going to tell us? Well, I think Elliott wave theory here is telling us that we are likely to be testing out that low range at 49,775. Okay, and it would be a three-wave pattern, W, X, and Y, getting us into this low range down here. Okay, so it's looking likely that we're likely to see that on the 1 hour time frame, and then from there we'll bounce back up again. So all to kind of play for on Bitcoin. A bit of a boring weekend, but some opportunities should you want to be trading nonetheless. And of course, if I am to be trading, I am trading on BitGet. Link for that in the description below. But guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. Why don't you check out this video right here, where JB is going through his thoughts and opinions on what he thinks is going on with Bitcoin.